The Financial Times, which is, of course, always probably one of the best newspapers to read, has put out a fascinating column exploring ways in which the government could realistically balance the books by following a set of policy recommendations that they have laid out. The question is simple on the face of it. What is the advice? Is it sound? Does it stack up? Would history support the projections? And I think there are three clear stages. So what's the FT's advice? The FT contributors outline a mix of near-term revenue raises and longer-term reforms designed to fill what Capital Economics estimates as a £24 billion fiscal hole by 2029 to 2030. And their suggestions, they've got 7 major suggestions. Firstly, to extend the freeze on personal tax thresholds using so-called fiscal drag to bring in around £7 billion annually, to raise levies on gambling, harmonising and raising betting taxes could deliver £2.4 billion per year, to broaden the VAT base by cutting exemptions, by lowering the rate to 18%, but applying it more widely. They claim an extra £17.5 billion could be raised annually. To retire the pension triple lock, shifting to earnings-based uprating could save £1.4 billion by 2029 to 2030 and up to £40 billion annually by 2050. To reform the disability payments, the PIP, with more targeted assessments controlling growth in claims. To improve tax collection, investing in HMRC to reduce the £14 billion annual shortfall in small business payments alone. And finally, to reduce road pricing to offset lost fuel duty as electric vehicles begin to proliferate. And the FT's thesis is that combining these measures could restore fiscal credibility without further damaging growth. Now, the second point is it sound advice? Does it stack up? And the short answer is, economically it is plausible, but politically it's difficult and not without risk. There's 3 issues here. First of all, the fiscal drag, it's proven and reliable. Governments have long used frozen thresholds to raise money quietly, and the Office for Budget Responsibility, the OBR itself, has forecast billions from existing freezes. However, it is regressive. It hits lower earners hardest and politically toxic over time. The gambling levies, under taxed relative to social cost, evidence from other jurisdictions suggest higher rates do not necessarily kill the industry, an irrational, defensible idea, though politically minor in scale. The VAT base broadening, this is the big ticket item. In theory, broadening the VAT base while lowering the rate is classic textbook reform. The OECD has long urged the UK to do this. It improves efficiency and it raises stable revenue, but it's one of the things that Rachel Reeves promised would not happen. These politics here are brutal. Most VAT exemptions exist precisely because they protect essentials like food and children's clothing. Removing them would provoke fury, especially among poorer households. Offsetting this with targeted benefits is possible, but administratively complex. As for the triple lock reform, entirely logical from a fiscal perspective, the current system is unsustainable over decades, yet abolishing it would provoke generational conflict and break explicit manifesto promises. History shows that even minor attempts to weaken the triple lock face ferocious opposition. As for the PIP reform, there is indeed scope to reform assessments and to reduce fraudulent or unnecessary claims, but savings are hard won, often exaggerated in forecasts, and risk political blowback about cruelty and fairness. We've already seen how that happens. And the Labour Party probably wouldn't survive that sort of reform. Improving tax collection is a no-brainer in principle, but capacity constraints at HMRC are real, and yield projections are often more optimistic than realistic. As for road pricing, that's sensible and inevitable given the rise of electric vehicles, but implementation will be slow, and the politics of charging drivers is always delicate. Now, would history support the analysis and the projections? History offers some lessons here. Threshold freezes have reliably delivered revenue in the past. George Osborne's post 2010 strategy depended heavily on it. VAT base expansion has precedent in EU states, but with backlash, and France's 2013 attempt to raise VAT on certain goods prompted mass protests, as you remember. The triple lock reform has so far proved untouchable. Even in austerity, governments kept it. The lesson? Political realism matters. Targeted benefit reform is difficult, often saving less than predicted. The Blair-Brown years tried this with mixed results. And tax compliance investments can yield results. HMRC's large business strategy delivered billions in 2010, but results take time. As for road pricing, that's worked elsewhere, in Singapore and in Stockholm, for example, but it faces voter resistance, and London's own congestion charge suggests acceptance can grow, but only with careful design. The Financial Times, I think, is correct that there's no single silver bullet to balance the books, and their menu of options is not radical or unorthodox. It reflects well understood economic trade offs. But while the arithmetic can work in theory, the political path is strewn with obstacles. Regressive tax rises hit the just about managing, breaking sacred promises to pensioners, picking fights with disability campaigners, risking voter fury with new charges. All of this is politically fraught. And I don't think, as the Labour Party moves into its second year, it's going to try risking its reputation and risking an even larger backbench rebellion than it's already done. I think it's going to move very tentatively. And what you'll see is, at this stage, a lot of promises and no actual action. I think, in other words, it stacks up technically, but politically much less so. What history teaches us is that sound policy alone rarely determines outcomes. And Lord Glassman says, oh, well, the Labour Party hasn't quite got into its stride. I'm afraid that time has gone. That boat has sailed. Successful chancellors need courage, communication, and coalition building, and Rachel Reeves has managed to destroy all of that. So yes, the government could balance the books on this advice, but whether it will is a profoundly different question, difficult question, and a profoundly different question, and I don't think it will. I think this is just words into the media stratosphere, and I don't think anybody in the Treasury will take any notice, because frankly, the political obstacles are too great to maneuver.